Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gaming Daddy channel. So this video is kind of a PSA, emergency PSA, that really is something that I want to quickly sound off on, because I strongly believe that the Division developers and the publishers need to hear this. Now, what is this particular PSA? Well, let's kind of put a little bit of context around this so that it makes a whole lot of sense when we kind of talk about it in in some broader focus. So the development for the Division franchise has been promised to be extended. There's going to be a movie, there's going to be a book, there's going to be a free-to-play game. There's also going to be some content coming down the road for the current game. So it appears that the developers and the publisher want to continue this franchise. Now, that being said, it appears that whatever it is that they're going to be bringing will probably need to be of a bigger nature than what it is we suspect. So what do I mean? There's going to be a free-to-play battle royale game for sure. Then there's also going to be some content coming for the current Division game down the road. Here very soon, we're going to get some Division 2 content. That's also established. But it was actually promised that this was going to be a unique game mode of some kind that, we had never really seen before. Now, here's the issue. I believe that if this was something that had dropped, say, a few months ago, it would have been really appropriate for the community, in the sense that the community would have really enjoyed or loved it, or at least been down with the idea, just like the summit. Now, the community didn't necessarily, not every member of the community loved the summit. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like everybody loved it, but some people really did. They really did enjoy it. What I saw, though, was a lot of people who played Underground saying, oh, I didn't really like, prequel bias got most of us there. Let's just admit it. You can't really top the Underground. So in order for them not to rehash the same thing, I guess they could have added Windows to the summit, which was a complaint I heard. I don't mean to laugh, but that was kind of weird. I was like, what? Windows? Who really cares about, what? Everybody has their own different priorities. Some people wanted gameplay mechanics, some people wanted Windows. I, for one, enjoyed the way they did the gameplay mechanics, but we can discuss that in a whole different video. Back to what's on deck though. Today, or I think it was yesterday, or I can't remember whenever it is you're watching this video, you'll probably be on a different day from when I'm actually, delivering this message to you. And that is the Battlefield 2024 trailer looked like it was paying 100% homage to the Battlefield community. Now, this is very, very important. It may seem like it's something trivial, but you know how gamers are. We sometimes will leave out, some of the things that have happened in the past, as long as the developers or the publishers are willing to be nice and willing to grovel back to us. We're like, it's okay, prodigal son, we'll take you back. Now, let's not be too quick to forget that when Battlefield 5 released, there was a huge debacle around it. In fact, everything that you've seen with this new Battlefield reveal is pretty much the antithesis of what that other Battlefield 5 trailer and reveal season and period was about. If anything, I think the developers and the publishers pretty much messed up a whole bunch of stuff. They janked it all up. They did not in any way or shape or form treat their community with any respect. In fact, one of the top brasses at EA told the community, if you don't like it, don't buy it. I mean, who tells their community? Ubisoft, I don't think, has ever said anything like that. I think this is why people still tolerate Ubisoft. But EA had a person that went ahead and said something so arrogant that the community could not stand the way they actually went around that game because of the community's concern. Yes, you may call it trivial, you may call it whatever, but at least, even if your community is on some tirade that you can't be by, it's very, very challenging for you as somebody selling something to go ahead and tell them, well, if you don't like it, don't buy it. So I think a lot of people kind of checked out. They didn't worry about the product. But then you come back and you look at this Battlefield 2024 trailer, and they're literally in the trailer doing stuff that the Battlefield community do when playing the games. That tells you and speaks volumes as to how much they are saying, yo, their Battlefield community, their Battlefield 3 community, their Battlefield 4 community, we are coming to get you guys back on track. And so, how does this tie into the Division franchise? I believe now that the Division franchise needs to understand that because of this sentiment, they are liable to lose a whole bunch of players to a paid game, even though they're going to be bringing out a free-to-play game. Sounds crazy, but I think, in my opinion, because of the way Battlefield 2024 is set up, EA, which is in my mind one of the devils, is going to be competing against Ubisoft, who is not necessarily, I won't call Ubisoft the devil, but I'll call them a really, 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 I don't know, what do you call those, the leprechaun, yeah, the really notorious creature, if you get what I mean. And so when you kind of look at this, you really have to say, in case of the Division, what are the developers doing? I think their decision not to come on the Ubisoft Forward is something that we can probably say, sure, we can mitigate this, but when it comes time to showcase this content that they're working on, it really needs to be something that pays a strong homage to the community. I get it. The PvP side of the community, and the PvE side of the community are looking forward to what Heartland's going to bring. So that's already something that is doing that work. But when it comes to the already active community who are already on Division 2, that will more than likely going to be, that are more than likely going to be getting this content coming down the road, I strongly believe that it's something that needs to be significant and significant enough to continue to keep players playing and interest players, and not just the game mode that may at some point appeal to perhaps 20% or 30% of the community. So I believe that at this point, it will make some sense to bring another level cap increase. Now, that sounded like a crazy proposition a few months ago. In fact, a few months ago, if anybody had said, oh, we want a level cap increase, everybody would have yelled at them. And I remember even getting yelled at too around that time. It didn't make any sense. People had farmed for all these items, people had actually gotten, the best gear and, farmed and, rolled everything. And it was amazing. But now a level cap increase doesn't sound so bad. I can almost tell you that there are probably people who may have shifted their position because they've left the game stale for months. They've even deleted the game because they've done everything. I mean, yes, their agents are still there. Their gear and their brand sets and all those wonderful things are still there. But I believe that, a level cap increase is something that will probably bring players, or at least interest enough players to be able to come back and say, what's going on here? Some of you in this Division community, you are hardcore grinders. You will sit there and play till you get the best gear, blow another 100, 200 hours, and you'll be fine. You're gonna play the game out of your system. There's so many opportunities here. Now, even if we don't get a level cap increase, even though you say, oh, here you go again, Mr. Gamer Daddy channel, throwing out all this crazy talk, at least let's look at some of the opportunities that are available in terms of things that could be done from a technical and gameplay perspective. Let's at least explore these things. In my opinion, in my mind, I think there are some things that the community have been asking for that I believe now that the game is reaching its end of the life, there's no need to hold back any reservations in order for them to give the community these kinds of things. I believe strongly that they can probably, in a sense, grant some really cool things to the community, like the ability to use every exotic piece, or at least use more than one exotic at the same time in the same category. So what do I mean? Now, this is something that has been really controversial for the longest time. Many people have said, I wish I could use 2 exotic gear items, or I wish I could use 2 exotic weapons. And yes, ideally, when you build and when you kind of get your agent to a specific point, you don't necessarily need something like that. But I believe that this is the power fantasy that many Division players like to pursue. From time to time, we like to see ourselves, or at least put ourselves in a situation where we can actually do something like that. So if you look at, say, the build I have on the screen right now, it's a build that I showed, I'm going to be showing this in a video coming soon, sorry. But what you notice is they're limited to 1 exotic gear piece or 1 exotic weapon at a time. Would it not be nice if you could actually use multiple exotic pieces, or at least exotic pieces everywhere? Now, what does that look like in exploring that kind of possibility? I'm not saying make us overpowered and make the game stupid easy, but at least it might provide some layer of playtime that the community can say, we're ready to actually close down the curtains on the Division franchise if you allow for us to be able to do this, or give us the capability to run this, or something close. This is just one out of many of the requests that the community has been making, and I believe that now is the best time for Massive Ubisoft to consider something like this, because it will be to their own detriment, or at least I would say it will be to their own loss if they don't go ahead and consider something like this. Because right now, because of the way we've seen things happen from last year, and all of the health issues, the health and medical issues that the whole world faced, I don't think they have the luxury to just ignore or say, well, you know, we have this very weird, or I would say stubborn vision of not giving our players what they want. There's no time for that. With the way EA, of all companies, of all publishing companies, the way they've actually decided that they're going to show or give a salute, not just a salute, basically a bow to their own communities, I strongly believe that the Division and the Massive team, or whoever is running this content in Ubisoft Bucharest, or whoever is in charge of it, if you're listening, Yannick, y'all need to go ahead and take this thing to the next level. Now, the only thing that will probably stop this is if they have something bigger in mind and it makes no sense to implement this. I think, okay, potentially, perhaps, that's where we're going to be seeing that this may not come into fruition. Okay, that makes sense. But at that point, we probably have content that is at least close to the weight of Warlords of New York, another huge story piece, or maybe another city DLC that's going to be coming down the road. Ideally, these are some of the things that are options that could bring, you know, players to the game, or even if they don't bring players to the game, it doesn't really matter at this point. I think what matters is that the developers are telling the community, we got you. We are in your corner, and we know exactly, you know, what it is that you guys want, and we're willing to actually work with you and actually grant these things to you. That's my video. Thanks for watching. Talk to me in the comment section. If you like the video, you know what to do. You can hit the like button or dislike button if you don't like it. You can subscribe if you want to hang out for the conversations, and I'll see you guys hopefully in another video. Peace out.